welcome on into Courtside. I'm your host, Courtney Webb, and this is a digital series about QVC entrepreneurs. And today we have one, Miss Maria McCool. How are you?
Hello.
Welcome on in.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, this is going to be so much fun. I'm excited. So let's start off first and foremost. You bring us a brand called Calista tools to QVC. Now, it didn't start off at QVC. You kind of started on your own journey. Tell us and take us back to the beginning.
Oh, wow. The beginning goes really far back because I've been in the salon since I've been 14.
Oh, wow.
I know. So, but as far as Calista, when I was the boss that I had at the time offered me to go in partnership with them in 1989. Well, he offered it before that, but we went in partnership in 1989. That was Calista. And, you know, it was a salon like no other. I was on my way to California. I had a big opportunity out there, and he just said, we should seize the moment. This area really needs it. Nobody's servicing the clients like you do. And I think a salon filled with that would just catch on like wildfire here. And he did. And the interesting thing, Courtney, I don't know if you knew this, but the connection was, and I'd have to think about the year, but it was in the 90s. QVC was looking for a home for the hosts to get their hair done, and they interviewed all the salons within a certain distance, and we went through a very intensive interview. It was like weeks where people came in and watched our work, and at the time we had a pretty young staff because I was young, and they're like, listen, even though your staff is so young, you guys are the ones. And that's really that connection. But if I could back up even further, because I just think this is a fun story. Before I owned my own salon, one of my clients was Doug Briggs. So you may or may not know, but he was the president for years in the beginning, and he used to cut his hair every 2 weeks. He would get trimmed up, and he was telling me all about this new, what was it called? The International Highway? What was the web called? But anyway.
Oh, the World Wide Web?
World Wide Web. Thank you. I forgot. He was telling me all about the World Wide Web and the fact that they would be opening this television shopping channel. And they were going to do it locally, and, you know, him and his boss, and like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. I'm like totally really young, you know, probably 20 years younger than him, and just was like, interesting. I think it was 18 or 19 or something like that. Wow. But anyway, then I was able to watch QVC just grow from its infancy because I would talk to him every 2 weeks.
Wow.
And yeah, isn't that funny? So that was like my original connection, and then I ended up being one of the salons interviewed for the hosts, and, you know, I started doing all the host hair, and I was doing a lot of them for years. But that's how the product line came up, because I used to concoct my own, and one of the hosts told me I should put a label on it and bring it to QVC.
Oh my goodness. So that's how the first product started to come to QVC.
Yep.
That is incredible. So you just mentioned a little bit, you said you started off in the salon when you were 14. Tell me a little bit about that and how you were in that position.
So believe it or not, I've been doing hair since I was 8 or 9 or 10. I used to cut all my dolls' hair all the time. And when I was 12, I roped my best friend into letting me do her hair. Now, the story was we had a girl-boy party, our first one that we were invited to go to. And I was talking to her about it after school, like on a Friday. It was a Saturday night party. And she was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to be going. I'm like, what? And she was really down. Her parents were going through a divorce. She was just not in a good mindset. And I'm like, I think you should let me do your hair, because if you do that, you'll be so happy. And so we walked up to the corner store. I bought a Tony perm and little scissors. And we went up to the 3rd floor in her house in the bathroom so nobody could see us. And I permed and cut her hair. And when I tell you, that girl was like, there was no more talk of not going to the party. Like, she was, that next thing we were doing was picking out her outfit, makeup we were going to wear. And when we went to the party, she was literally the belle of the ball. Like, she was just like a magnet to everybody. When all the girls were over on the one side and the boys were on the other side, not Mary. Mary was like, all the boys were just like, hey, Mary. So I decided that very night, I'm like, I'm going to totally do this for the rest of my life, because if I can make somebody who is so down and out and, like, you know, not feeling great about herself, turn into the princess, like, this is my job. I think this is my calling. So with that being said, I, you know, just as soon as I could get 14 working papers that I could work in a salon. My aunt had a friend who owned one, Susie, and I worked for her. And then I went to beauty school in 10th grade. I enrolled myself in 9th grade.
Wow.
Yeah, which was a whole fiasco because the teachers, I was a straight A student and they didn't want me to throw it all away, quote unquote, throw it all away.
Right.
But that was, and there's a cute story to that if you want to hear it.
Yes.
So they didn't want, the teachers were like, no, you can't go to beauty school. It's going to wreck your, you won't have enough credits for college and this is not good.
Yeah.
So my dad and my mom marched up to the school because I told them that night I was so sad I wanted to do that, but they're not going to let me do that. So in our school, there was a side door and like when it opened, it was like the gust of air would go and everybody would look up and here's my parents walking in.
Oh my
now, this is 7. So there's no denying that it's my parents.
Right.
Everybody knows. And my dad is literally carrying my Barbie dolls. He brings them to the school to show them that this is what I've been doing my whole life, and this would be crazy for you not to let her do this. And I was embarrassed because my Barbie.
Right. I mean, your dad walks in with Barbie dolls.
It was so like, I kind of knew. Like at first I was just like, but then I was like, I knew what he was doing because I just knew my dad so well. But at the same time, I was like total social suicide. I was like,
you're like,
God. Yeah. At first I was like, no, I don't think it doesn't look like, but everybody knew my parents, so it's not.
Aww.
But the good thing is they ended up, plus they called me into the office, so then whoever didn't know it was my parents now knew.
They now knew.
Come meet your parents in the office. So I go in and my dad is showing them that. And my mom, which I always remember this and was so grateful and to have tried to pass that on with my kids. But my mom said, listen, I would love all of my children to go to college. I mean, that would be a great thing. But what's more important to me is that all of my children be happy. And I trust that Maria's making a decision for her happiness. So we stand behind it and we need you to just allow her to do what she wants to do.
That is incredible. The more I hear a lot of the entrepreneurs when we do this series, I hear about how their parents have been such an influence and a support system on the trajectory that they've had. And to hear that and to just know that they had so much faith in you, that I think it's encouraging. And then of course you then have faith in yourself to try new things, do things that maybe seem a little hard or unconventional. I mean, I'm sure coming on to QVC for the first time, you're bringing hair products. What was the first product that you brought us to Q?
It was Embellish, my first product. It's the fiber, everybody
yes. Oh, that's my favorite one to demonstrate.
That was the first product that I came on with. And
it's still
Jill Palmer was one of my clients, and she was like a fan of that product that I used to use behind my chair and actually helped me finish producing it to bring it to Q.
Oh, wow.
And oddly enough, 13 years later, I guess, 2007, I think, oddly enough, it's still selling. Like, it's very unusual for a hair, any kind of styling product to last because styles change and stuff.
Right, of course.
But I still come on regularly. It's still a fan favorite and a top seller. But that was my little baby.
Oh my goodness. And now what's the breadth of your collection? Tell us what we can shop now because you've gone into tools and beyond.
We know that the Perfector is a big, that's a definite number one seller. I mean, whatever millions amount have been sold on Q. But I see now that, I would say currently, like the Style Dryer Pro, that we cannot keep in stock there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We're having a hard time. That's a new one, very, very, very popular. And the Faux Blow, I would say as well. And then the Juice Cleanse and Condition is really taken off. That's a whole new way of shampooing your hair. And, that's been a lot of fun too. So I would say, I'm going to have to say they're the top ones at this point.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact that you've gone into so many categories, did you know that you wanted to get into creating like tools even and stuff like that when you first started?
Not even products, to be honest with you. I mean, a stylist is who I am.
Yeah.
So through and through, even here at the company, my partner at the hair care company will be like, you need to be here more, stop doing hair, like, you need to hear more. And I was telling him the other day, I'm like, listen, when you married me, I was a hairstylist and I'm still a hairstylist. Like, that's not changing. And it's really what, one, it feeds me. And two, I wouldn't even be able to create the tools without being it for me because I'm hearing where my clients are struggling.
Right.
And that's, I mean, there are think about it. I've owned my salon for 30 years. I can get any product I possibly want. The only reason why I'm going to make a product or a tool is because there's a problem out there that my clients are having that we can't fix.
Well, and that's perfect, because as someone who's a consumer and who shops QVC as well as is on it, but I want to know why something is created, and that helps me decide, oh, is that what I need? And so when you hear entrepreneurs like yourself say, well, I created it out of a need, it's a problem solution, it's empowering for me to know, okay, someone's tested this and other people have had this problem. Because that's the other thing. I think we all think our hair type is its own animal and no one else has had the same problem.
No, and it's so true. That's the thing. Like, and especially because I've been doing it so long, like people will say to me like, well, I don't know if you'll understand my hair. And I'm thinking, probably at this point I've seen.
Try me.
Exactly. Because I've there's not too, I don't know. In the last 10 years, there's not been a challenge that I can't deal with, because it's been so long that I'm doing it. And, not to like toot my own horn or any of that stuff, but I think it's the big difference with the brand. I mean, I really do think to have a hair care company that hairstylists are creating is so much different. And believe me, I worked for multiple, back early in my career, I competed for years. And when you compete, it then lands you jobs with corporation companies, right? So, I mean, I worked with Aveda before it was Aveda. And the reason why I had chose Aveda is because the man who founded it was an amazing hairstylist. And it was so much different than the other companies that hairstylists weren't even running the company. And I really got my grassroots training from working with them, right? Because we were a test salon and we would test product. And, so I was because people are like, how did you jump into making products? I worked with those companies for years until I had my children. And when I started having my children, the salon was enough for me. So I no longer worked with the companies, but what was happening was, as I was working behind the chair, if I didn't have something I liked, I would just concoct it because I had the experience, and I would use it. So if I was doing a bride and I knew her hair was going to fall too quickly and I didn't have something that had enough hold or whatever, I would just doctor up what I have, make it work.
That's incredible.
And that's what happened with Embellish. I started to have people say, wait, where do I buy that? How do I get that? I'm like, I'll make it.
I'll make it.
So like, Jill, I'll make you some. I'll drop it off to you.
Oh my goodness.
So, isn't that funny?
That is. So when you hear stuff, you hear people create food, they create little, but to create hair products, I'm just like, I don't even know where to begin. But you had, obviously, you just said the training that led to the foundation work to then be able to be at the place you are now, where you're like, you know what, I can put this, and this together for your hair type, and it's going to perform.
Yeah, because you know what the bases are, and then it's just a matter of adding. It's almost like if you never ever cooked tomato sauce before, right? Or, for your pasta, you might get a canned one, but you might be like, gosh, it's not enough salt, or it's not enough, start putting your little, so you're like, okay, now that's good. So it was almost like I knew the bases, and it's just like, they just don't have enough hold in them for people with fine hair. So I'm going to do that. And the Embellish product was a product where it's like, gosh, they have pastes and creams, but you can only put them on 2 times a hair.
Yes.
How about fine hair ladies? How about all my, I need a product that's going to change for me so that I can use it on everybody.
Yeah.
That's why I created it.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, if you're watching right now, just so you can you can get Embellish. You can't create it, sorry. You can purchase it on Qvc.com for sure and pick it up and try it for yourself, especially with that 90-day extended return policy, which is fantastic. And then, of course, you have all of your tools on Qvc.com as well. Now, when you hear, because summer's coming up, and I'm just, as it being relevant, what's a pro tip that you would share with someone for summer hair? I mean, just knowing that there's humidity, there's sun, there's all of that. What's a pro tip that you think is a good summer need to know?
I love these questions because I don't think enough people think about their hair seasonally.
Oh.
We think about our clothes seasonally.
Yeah.
What are you going to pull out and what are you going to put away, Your hair is the same way. Okay. And for summer, we really need to pull out deep masks, right? We need conditioning. In the winter, we need hydrating because there's no moisture in the air. In the summer, there's plenty of moisture in the air, but our hair is being really challenged by the incredible sun. So we need masks that are we have a Mend mask that actually does reparative, helps because when that sun starts stripping your hair of its oil, that's where we get more breakage and damage and split ends. The other pro tip is that, if you like the men mask, or we also have an oil that if you can put it in your hair when you go out into the sun and do that, bi-weekly or monthly, even like to get that intensive oil conditioning treatment, really do need to protect our hair in the summer. Like you need to go overboard a little bit with the conditioning. Even if you don't like your hair when you have conditioner on it, then do those things on the days you're not going to do anything. And then if you want to just shampoo your hair on the day you're going to go out or something like that, that you can do that. I have a product called a Cheap 10 that we sell on Q. That's humidity blocker, UV protection, frizz control, detangling, prevents breakage. Like when summer hits, a Cheap 10 is my styling product because you need protection.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. I mean, when I knew you were coming on the show, I'm like, there has to be something that's the equivalent to like the sunscreen and the hydration for my hair. And I have curly hair, so it just sucks any type of moisture immediately, and then it frizzes because it doesn't have enough and all of that. Right.
I was just looking down to see if I saw it, but your curly hair, I have curly hair too. Like a Cheap 10 is in my beach bag. Like, because if I get out of water or pool, I put the Cheap 10 through. It never, with curls, it just makes them beautiful, not frizzy, and you don't feel it. There's no gel to it, right? There's no crunch or anything like that. So you can blow out beautifully with it. You can dry by itself. Men love it because they put it through. It smells clean. Their hair dries nice without having to blow dry too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I'm going to have my husband use that because he's always like, I don't want to use a blow dryer. And I'm like, but you should use a blow dryer.
The Cheap 10, it's so funny because with men not getting their haircuts, my partner just said it to me this morning. So we were talking about Cheap 10 for a second, and he was like, that's what I'm using now. I'm like, I guess so, because his hair's a little grown out.
Yep.
It just keeps it under control. It's not frizzy and fuzzy on him. Like, it just keeps it nice, and it's great for beard.
Oh, interesting.
If you want to groom your beard too, it's so nice.
Oh, well, a Cheap 10 all the way around. It'll just be like a family purchase. So, okay, so now that we know what to do during the summer, tell me a little bit about myths. Some of the myths that we have about hair and maybe products. Like, what is one that you hear often when people are in your chair and they say, oh, does this happen when I do X or something? That you're like, I have to debunk this every single time. Do you have one of those?
There are so many of those, but I would say, one of the big ones that I think is important is the hair myth about hair color and pregnancies. Oh. I think that's, I think that people ask me about that all the time. Mm-hmm. It has been proven that hair color does not go into your blood system, but I just had this the other day. That's why I was thinking about it. But if you are concerned, you can go to highlighting or something that's not on your scalp. Mm. That I really definitely think is one I always like to debunk because people are like, oh, I'm pregnant, I can't color my hair. I'm like, but that's the case. But can I debunk one other one?
Yes, of course.
So many people ask me about, like, there's really no difference between the drugstore and professional products. Like, I think people they're trying to make money off of me. I cannot begin to tell you, and my integrity is so important to me, but how true that is. The ingredients it's no different than paying, for cashmere. It's cashmere. It's harder to get. It's more expensive. It's the grade of the fabric, right? Right. The ingredients that go into professional products are so much better than the ingredients that go into something that's only going to cost you $5, $6, $7, $8, $9. Your hair, I can't even begin to tell you. My stylists, when if they're not selling professional products to their clients, I make them. I go across the street. We have a Walgreens. I go and I get them stuff that's across the street, and I say, you use this for the next month, and you see how your hair feels. And they're just like, I can't use that. It'll ruin my color. I'm like, I'm just telling you that's what's happening with my clients walking out. You don't want her hair dried and damaged and her color ruined and all that, but you're allowing her to use that product. I see. That's my.
Well, and also, I mean, I know QVC is something that's really great about our company, that we're part of that family, is that they do such fact checking. So when we bring in products like such as Calista's, we know that it's already been checked out the yin yang to like make sure it's all like above board. So you know you're getting quality products. And then of course you yourself have already done the work as well. So it's almost like a double check to make sure that you're getting high efficacy products, but also that they're going to work.
I love that about QVC. I have to say, like, just because it lines up with my mission as well and my vision. But so many people ask me, knowing that I'm on Q, like, so tell me really, like how does that work? Like the before and after, like what do you do? You know, all that.
It's real.
And every time I'm like, no legal like QVC legal. Like I'm telling you, the things you have to do by the book and then some is amazing. And I love that about Q. And I that's one good one to debunk, because a lot of people will say that about that before and after. Is that really her hair? Like, they won't let you guys won't even let us take a picture a different day.
No.
They gotta walk in the building and take their picture.
Yes.
And go out and use the product. Like, we can't say, well, she was just here yesterday. She just basically has the same hair, maybe a millimeter longer. Maybe. But, but no, it has to be, she walks in the building, she takes her picture.
Yes.
She uses the product and shows you.
So let's just talk about that a little bit. Tell us why you love being on QVC and why you are so happy to be a part of this family, because I know that we obviously appreciate it. Those who use the products appreciate it. But tell us why you love being here.
Oh, gosh. Q is its own species, right? And it's so cool being with something that doesn't exist anywhere else. I love what QVC stands for, the quality, right? The value, the convenience. I mean, those three things alone, when I founded my company, I was always wanted to give quality and value and convenience. QVC, it's what it stands for. And it's, to me, that's so, so important. And on top of that, I do love, I never, ever got in this business to be on television by any stretch of the imagination. Any stretch of the imagination. But what I do love is that that day I made that difference to my best friend. And then we have 1,000 clients a week that come through the salon and do that. And now I'm making, and we call it Beauty Brave. I'm making that Beauty Brave difference to the QVC customer, which is national, right? Or worldwide even. And so that's another reason why I really align. And my goal is to make people beauty brave. I mean, we do products and tools that, empower transformation to make you brave about your beauty on your own, which we call #Beauty Brave. And that's really, QVC lines right up with that. So I'm grateful for QVC.
Oh.
There's nothing like it.
There is definitely nothing like it. I mean, it is its own place, and it has evolved so much. I'm sure you've seen more than even I could possibly attest to. But it's awesome. It's such a great place to be.
I've done celebrities when they come, right, and their hair go on air or whatever. And I've watched the celebrities go on air, and I've even watched their mouths go because they've been on television, they've been in movies, they've done all kinds of things, but that QVC environment is just this masterful, mind-blowing event.
Yeah.
And whether you're on for 10 minutes or an hour or whatever, it's phenomenal. And because QVC stands behind everything they do, and they do everything, not just what the customer sees, but when we come in the building and we're behind the camera, it's quality, it's value, it's convenience, it's all through and through with the company.
It's so true. So do you have anything that you're excited about? Maybe sneak peeks or things that you're optimistic about for the future or looking forward to?
Yes. Of course. We do have some fun new lines that we are, the juice line, which the scalp care, which has been really great. We'll be introducing something new to that next year. Embellish line, which everybody adores, the Embellish product, and now we have a hairspray that's a top seller. Well, we do have a foam that we'll be introducing soon. So now you have your styling product, your finishing product, and your spray from one line that really enhances the texture of your hair.
Ooh.
So that I'm super excited about. And then the new line was called Stratosphere. It's an oxygenated product, line of products. We did launch the first one, the Air Shape, that is really getting great reviews and did so great. But that line is a whole fun new line. And the tools, I have to keep a secret.
Oh, so close. We will be keeping an eye out for that. And of course, you'll see it live on Qvc.com, especially because once those come out, you know they're coming straight to Q. And then, of course, you'll be able to see Maria show you how to use them. Because that's the other thing. You've gone through such lengths to make sure that we know exactly how to use them. Because I have been in position where I've used a tool or a product before, and without knowing how to use it, sometimes it can be a little like, I'm done. I don't want to try it again. And that's always not what you want, especially if it's something that works really, really well.
Right. We do, we do all the videos. We try to post them on Qvc.com as well as all of our platforms. Lots and lots and lots of how-tos. And I am on Facebook all the time, so you literally can reach out and I'm going to answer your question. And I think that the education is important because, like we talked about, the products and tools I create are solving a problem, so they're always a little unique, and they may include a little bit of a learning curve. Right. But I promise, when that learning curve is done, it's like riding a bike. That balance is weird, and then you can't imagine never riding a bike, right?
Yeah.
And I know that the products and tools are like that a lot because it's like, wait, what? What's it like? You know,
yeah.
How look different? They look like, wait, what's this? But as soon as you do, then clients say it all the time to me. They'll message me and say, I can't live without this. That's my go-to.
So where can we find you? You just mentioned Facebook. Tell us the platforms and where we can shop the brand and support you going forward.
So you can find me on Calista by Maria McCool. That's Facebook. And the same with Instagram, Calista Maria McCool's. And then YouTube, it's Calista. We do have a YouTube page that has all our how-tos and so a bunch of how-tos. Whenever we launch a product, we launch it with a how-to. It's always stored there. And even actually on CalistaTools.com, every single product has a how-to on its page.
Oh, that's nice.
And a how-to video and stuff like that. So we have a lot of places where you can find that stuff. So hopefully to help you, but you can always find me on Facebook.
Oh, good.
We always check that. And if you have any particular questions, I'm hoping to do some. I think the next thing that would be fun now that I've learned how to virtually compare with people.
Yes.
Which has been crazy. I mean, David Venable cutting his hair with him.
I saw that.
Quite an experience.
So I'm so glad it was recorded.
I know, right? He's so, and I've had to do it with a couple other hosts who weren't as willing to record it. I think David was so beauty brave. I kept calling him. Oh, you're one of my beauty braves now.
Because, and he was.
Yeah, right? But I'm hoping to do something around just like we're doing right now, but start doing some consultations for people. Mm-hmm. I mean, now that we realize it's so easy to really reach out, right?
It is, yes.
That has come out of, COVID. But, so I'm hoping that maybe all these customers that from Q that are all over this country that are constantly kind of reaching out about things, it'd be wonderful to sit here and take a look at their hair and give them a consultation.
Exactly. And the fact that there's so many resources now that we're able to do that and so many platforms, whether they want to record it or not is up to them. But of course, you can also share the experience, which might help others who are like, I'm scared to do a consultation, but that girl has the exact same hair as I do. At least it seems that way,
Mm-hmm.
Which is always good.
I think that would be fun for the Q customer to be able to really reach out to me personally and be like, what am I don't. And I have had that. Obviously on Facebook, they'll be like, I just watched your show. Mm-hmm. Would this work for my hair? This is what my hair is. And then this way I can answer them. And whether it's yes, definitely, or you know what, you might like this even better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I'm excited to hear about this. You let us know when that comes into fruition.
Working.
Of course. So before we sign off here, tell us a little bit about what you would share to someone who is interested into branching out. Maybe they're wanting to take a step in a different direction, or maybe they're wanting to try something that they've maybe created or concocted on their own. What advice would you give someone from an entrepreneurial standpoint on moving forward and kind of persevering, especially during this time?
Those are the biggest two things you could have said. Moving forward and persevering. persevering, because I think it's always about moving forward and persevering. And I would say, I mean, I just in the beginning, right over the winter, I wrote my first book. And it's called Becoming Beauty Brave. Hopefully I'll be able to bring it to QVC when it's in print. Right now it's just an ebook, but it'll be in print in the fall. And it really it's a great read. People have been really giving it such great reviews, which is nice. But what you're talking about, like always being willing to go out of your comfort zone to move forward, right? Because when I went on Q that first time, I was scared to death. And I you always get to that moment before, like, wait, why am I doing this? Should I do this? Maybe I won't do this. Like, just do it. Like, the worst that can happen is you fail, and you'll do something else. Like, you gotta just trust your gut and go for it. And even when your gut's telling you maybe 50% no, that's still okay. If your gut's telling you you're 70%, then listen to your gut. But if you're at least that 50% mark, I say go for it. And then perseverance is the big key. I can't tell you how many times, Courtney, I was going to quit QVC. I can't tell you how many times I was going to sell the salon back before even QVC. Yeah. If I could tell you how many times where I just was like, I don't think this is for me. I had to deal with the employees. I'm not doing that well. Like, they're annoying me, or whatever the case is. Walk off a QVC cell and we like, wow, I just did terrible. Like, that was terrible. Like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I need to rethink this. Perseverance and saying no to yourself. Like, I always have to say no to my mind talk. Like, that, what are you saying? It's even in the beginning when I started doing hair, I was so busy. And then I had a client, that complained about a cut that I gave her. And all I could focus on was that client who complained about that haircut. I already did thousands of people who were happy with their hair.
Right.
Focus on is that one client. And then you start to focus on, should I be doing this? And you have to, like, get a mind check and say, what are you talking about? It's one person. You know what I mean? Sometimes on Q, you don't do well. You come off and you're like, what are you talking about? It's one cell out of 1,000. Persevere.
Well, and I really appreciate what you said about the 50% mark, because I sometimes will slap something down because I'm like, well, I'm only 50%. That must mean that I'm not capable or ready to do it. And it's like, I feel like you just gave me permission to say, no, Courtney, 50% is 50%. That's halfway there. Like, just keep going.
Yeah, that's the biggest, you can use that on every rule of thumb, but like 50%, you're halfway there. Like, you got to take that. It would be like if somebody, they're good odds. I think 50 is good odds. Yeah.
50%. I really appreciate that. And I hope someone who's watching right now needed to hear that. If you're at 50% right now, go for it. Because at the end of the day, you're just going to learn, right? I mean, how many things did you go at 50%? And then you learned, and either it was a success or maybe you just learned so much to then produce the next thing, which I think is key.
And I guess maybe, I don't know if it happened in my 50s or 40s, but it wasn't my whole time when I started to really realize that it's okay to fail. It's really okay to fail. It doesn't really mean anything, and nobody even is going to know about it. And the couple people that do, it doesn't even matter in the end. True. You really have to at some point come along, like the book, right? Like, at some points I didn't even want. I was like, okay, we need to stop this. This is not going. And I even when I was going to the publisher after I had handed in my manuscript and I was done. I was literally driving there in D.C. on the phone with my girlfriend saying, I'm trying to figure out how I can tell them not to take this book. Like, this is not good. The book's not good. Like, having all my self-doubt. And, of course, arriving there, like, we love your book. I'm like, I do, too. I know.
I do, too. Oh, my goodness. I can't wait for the book. Tell us the name of the book again one more time for when because it's ready. It's an ebook right now?
It's an ebook now. It's called Becoming Beauty Brave.
Becoming Beauty Brave.
It's a cool book about my story and everything, but it's also what you're gonna get out of it is taking maybe that next step with your own image. So, it's kind of intriguing that way. It has a nice little quiz in it, so you know where to go, maybe what to try new.
Okay, well, we will look out for that. We'll definitely shop QVC.com for Maria's products. You'll see them. And, of course, follow her on social media, support her in the brand. But, Maria, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
so much fun. I love courtside.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, we hope to see you soon on air again. If not, I'm sure Skype will always be there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, well, thank you so much and have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.